leg defeat. It may be that it's the only UEFA Europa League loss of 8 in the club's history in which they got on the score sheet. A big night ahead then between these two sides. Surely Tottenham are there and thereabouts. Really, it would take a real capitulation and real history if they were to lose tonight, and they have gone with a strong looking side, to be fair, as Jose Mourinho has reined the changes from the side that lost to West Ham in a really disappointing defeat at the weekend. It's Joe Hart who starts in goal, a back four from right to left of Matt Doherty, Eric Dyer, Toby Alderweireld and Ben Davies. Moussa Sissoko and Harry Winks will be the two central midfielders, with Eric Lamela, Dele Alli and Steven Bergwijn behind Carlos Vinicius, who leads the line up front. Ferdinand Feldhofer has also made changes, 4 of them in fact from the side that lost to Tottenham last week. It sees Manuel Coutinho come in goal. It's then a back three of Dominic Baumgartner, Gustav Henriksen and Luka Lokashvili. It's a midfield of Michael Novak, Christopher Vertsnig, Michael Liendl, Kai Stasnig and Jonathan Scherzer, with Dario Vizinga and Cheku Dieng up front. A big game then for these two sides at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It's myself, Jack Deaton, who will take you through the next 90 minutes and potentially extra time and penalties should we go that far. I'm not expecting it to be a long-winded affair, this, between these two, with Tottenham leading by 4-0. Jose Mourinho versus Ferdinand Feldhofer, the 41-year-old who's had a relatively good time in charge of Wolfsberg. It's just their second season in European football, having only been promoted to the Austrian First Division back in 2012. So Tottenham will get things underway in their all-white strip with the blue, almost shoulder pads, kicking from right to left. Wolfsberger in their change strip of an all-royal blue. It's Ben Davies on the ball, the captain. The first opportunity then for him to get on the ball here on the left-hand side, midway inside his own half. He finds Eric Dyer, will knock the ball back to his goalkeeper Joe Hart. Now out to the right-hand edge of the 18-yard box, and Toby Alderweireld, the Belgian, with a long ball forward, looking for Carlos Vinicius. He's challenged in the air by Dominic Baumgartner, who then does well to clear, but Moussa Sissoko uses his strength terrifically there just to wrestle away from Christopher Vertsnig. And in the end, it goes out of play for a throw-in to Wolfsberger, just inside the Tottenham half out on the left-hand side. The throw-in taken quickly into Wernertzig, should I say. In the end, it goes out of play. A hefty touch from the Austrian. It will be an opportunity for Tottenham to start again with a throw-in just inside their own half. 9th in the Premier League at the moment, of course, Tottenham. A tough sort of spell for them. This competition has been a welcome reprieve as they come forward now with Ben Davies on the left-hand side, midway inside Wolfsberger territory. Steven Bergwijn in the end, the Dutchman, who has to go all the way back to the halfway line, and Harry Winks out to Bergwijn again, skipping in field on his right foot. Goes back. Sissoko's got Doherty on the right, but plays a nice ball into the arch. Eric Lamela. First touch for him. Yeah, Tottenham. Wolfsberger with the back three and then a 5 in front, just defending in numbers. And they've won it here through, I think it was Cheku Dieng who actually got in possession. It will then be cleared away, and maybe an opportunity for Dieng, who's fouled by Eric Dyer. So it will be a free kick to Wolfsberger just inside their own half, just to the right of the centre circle. 2 minutes on the clock. Tottenham Hotspur 0, Wolfsberger 0 in this independent off-tube studio-based commentary of the last 32 of the Europa League. You see Ferdinand Feldhofer stood in his technical area, hands in his pockets watching on. A long ball forward is headed away only as far as Michael Novak, midway inside Tottenham territory. He goes backwards to Kai Stasnig. Stasnig finds Cheku Dieng. Dieng, good position here, crossing position level with the 18-yard box. He finds Stasnig, but the pass, or the return pass to Dieng was poor. And now Steven Bergwijn can break here with a little ball infield, looking for Eric Lamela. It took a touch on its way. It's Christopher Vinicius who comes away with it and finds Cheku Dieng. Dieng trying to get away from Eric Dyer, who does really well. Nice and strong defending from the England international. And it goes out of play for a Tottenham throw-in midway inside their own half. A few eyebrows were raised, incidentally, when Cheku Dieng's name was included on the team sheet today. And the reason why is because Dejan Jevelic, the Serbian really in the side this year, their top scorer in the league with 8 goals from 18 matches. He was omitted, he's on the bench. Who the job of trying to run this Tottenham defense and look to cut it in field up against Michael Novak. Novak tries to step across, lovely roulette from Bergwijn as he skipped away from Kai Strasnik. And it goes back to Harry Winks. Winks into Bergwijn. Winks is still in support as Bergwijn spins away to find Ben Davies. All being played out on this near left-hand side, midway inside the Wolfsberger half. The clearance finds Harry Winks on the halfway line, and now Ben Davies from left to right into the centre circle for Eric Dyer. Dyer carries it forward 10 yards, will find Toby Alderweireld. A third of the pitch is where Tottenham are inhibited at the moment, but now Matt Doherty has it inside the area, but a heavy touch from the Irishman just allowed Luka Lokashvili to step across. The Georgian defender will make sure the ball goes out of play for a Wolfsberger goal kick. A great little ball over the top from Moussa Sissoko. That's what he can do when he picks a pass. It's a nice ball over the top. After a good driving run and piece of skill initially from Stefan Bergwijn. One to add to his growing showreel. See the roulette again as he skipped away from Strasnik. Wolfsberger get things back underway here with Lokashvili into the feet of Baumgartner. Now out to Gustav Henriksen. Just trying to pass the ball around here through Lokashvili. And it will be the goalkeeper Manuel Kutin to clear the ball away. Kutin, incidentally, not the #1 choice goalkeeper at Wolfsberger. Alexander Koffler, another one of those surprise omissions. He's dropped to the bench today. Kutin making just his second UEFA Europa League appearance this evening. As Liendl plays a nice ball and maybe a chance here for Dario Vizinga to get through. His pass is poor and Dele Alli's clearance gifts possession straight back to the visitors again. Michael Novak's ball in, headed away by Sissoko. It falls then to Christopher Vernitsig, whose strike sails relatively harmlessly over the crossbar. 6 minutes on the clock. Tottenham 0, Wolfsberger 0 in the UEFA Europa League. Decent ball in that, headed away by Sissoko, and then Vernitsig struck it well on the half volley, but slices across it. Now Carlos Vinicius to bring it forward and plays a nice ball out to Stefan Bergwijn, and Tottenham have got men bursting forward. Bergwijn on the ball, gets the strike off that goes wide of Kutin's right hand post, relatively harmlessly wide as well. The keeper unmoved. Good breakaway from the hosts. Nice run from Bergwijn, who seems like he's well up for this sort of game. This opportunity to get the ball down and get a run at people. As we see Gareth Bale sat on the bench watching the game from the sideline today. We'll probably speculate that with Gareth Bale being left on the bench that he would potentially be lined up for a start against Burnley on Sunday. Bale, who came off the bench against West Ham United and put in a relatively good performance. He was the player that spurred on Tottenham. Bar late on as well with a half volley, so close to adding another brilliant goal against West Ham to his repertoire. As now Michael Liendl, the skipper, finding Vernitsig. To Liendl again, midway inside the Tottenham half. His through ball aiming for Vizinga is won back by Sissoko. And then the attempted clearance from Doherty falls to Liendl, and an early ball in is too close to Joe Hart, who's able to take the ball comfortably. Tottenham look to get things back underway quickly with Harry Winks taking the ball over halfway. Another ball into Steven Bergwijn, and Winks has made a good run down the left. If Dele Alli can find him, the pass from Ali was asking a lot of Harry Winks. It goes out of play for a goal kick. I'm sure that Ferdinand Feldhofer will be relatively pleased with the start his side's made. He said after the defeat to Tottenham last week that his side couldn't breathe. Tottenham suffocated them in the first half. Spurs led 3-0 at the break. He's desperate to ensure that his side don't make those sorts of mistakes again, and it's perhaps why they've had this change of shape as Manuel Coutin plays a long ball forward, and I say long, it's gone all the way over everybody for Joe Hart to chest down inside his penalty area, and that won't quite please Mr. Feldhofer. It's a long ball forward again from Tottenham this time. May well fall for Matt Doherty, midway inside Wolfsberger territory on the right hand side. He finds Lamela as Doherty continues for an overlapping run. The pullback is poor, easy for Kai Strasnik to bring down, and now Jonathan Scherzer, the left back, playing as a wing back today, is able to come forward. His ball in field is just about dealt with by Strasnik under pressure. Wolfsberger retain possession, a 2-1 win for them over Sturm Graz at the weekend. They're just behind their rivals, actually, up into 5th place. They've still got a lot of work to do if they want to get themselves back into the UEFA Europa League next year. Here's Moussa Sissoko, midway inside his own half, just out to the left-hand side where Harry Winks will play a nice forward ball to Dele Alli, and Ali's found Eric Lamela. Lamela 30 yards from goal, shooting opportunity maybe, he forced it to Bergwijn just inside the area. Bergwijn back to Dele Alli on the edge of the 18-yard box. That's a nice ball to Doherty, who pulls it across for Ali. Ali with a bicycle kick, and it's into the back of the net, and the perfect start for Tottenham Hotspur. And what a goal that is from Dele Alli. It's not a kick for Chelsea against Atletico last night, but it's a goal out of the top drawer from Dele Alli, and Tottenham, who haven't really had a sniff in terms of creating an opportunity and scoring goals, have got themselves one on the 10-minute mark. Tottenham Hotspur 1, Wolfsberger 0. Tottenham have the breakthrough at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It's Tottenham Hotspur 1, Wolfsberger 0. A good piece of play from Spurs got them up in towards the penalty area. Dele Alli it was, who played a nice ball out to Matt Doherty. Doherty took his time and whipped a ball in for Ali again, who took a touch. It had him facing away from goal. So what does he do? He flings a bicycle kick at the ball into the back of the net, looped up into the corner. A wonderful finish from Dele Alli, who continues to ask questions of Jose Mourinho and his place in the first team. Tottenham have the breakthrough. They lead by a goal to 0 and 5-1 on aggregate. Perfect start for Tottenham Hotspur. Dele Alli, as I say, just asking those questions of Jose Mourinho. Mourinho has repeatedly challenged Dele Alli to put those performances in, to show what he's capable of. There wasn't a smile on the face of Jose as the ball hit the back of the net. There was applause, but I'm sure he was smiling inside. Dele Alli certainly smiling on the outside. A wonderful finish from him as a long ball forward from Wolfsberger runs through to Joe Hart, and you really can't ask for more from Spurs. You had said before the game that they can draw it and go through. They can lose the game 1-0, 2-1 and go through, but that's not acceptable. They want to go through and into the last 16 with a victory, and that is the way to get themselves going, as Christopher Vertsnik plays a nice ball out to, I think that was Kai Strasnik. His ball forward is headed straight back, and Tottenham will break again here with Bergwijn. He's got Doherty out on the right hand side, and Doherty into Wolfsberger territory. Will knock it down the line to Steven Bergwijn again. It's a poor ball though from the winger. Just gives possession straight to Wolfsberger, who give it straight back to Tottenham. Bergwijn inside the area, twisting, turning as he shapes it back, and the strike comes in from Harry Winks a long way over the bar. Poor effort in the end from Harry Winks. It sat up nicely for him. It was on his weaker foot though, and he steps through, strikes it well enough, just skews underneath the ball. At the top, relatively comfortably. 13 minutes on the clock then. Tottenham 1, Wolfsberg 0. Independent off-tube studio commentary. What a start for Tottenham. Sees them take a step closer. I suppose they were pretty close already, even before this game begun. They were pretty close to that place in the last 16. I don't think many would have bet against Tottenham going through. I'm sure the odds will be even shorter. It's Dele Alli's second goal in 6 Europa League games. Very, very pleased that he's managed to get himself on the score sheet. It will be interesting to see what Wolfsberg did last week, as it was played on a neutral venue. They just shut up shop in the second period, but did get themselves a goal as well. They need to try and stifle Tottenham, who have their tails up here. Ben Davies, 40 yards out on the left-hand side, skipping away from Strasnik, finds Carlos Vinicius. Vinicius does well to find Dele Alli, the goal scorer, into Harry Winks. Spurs queuing up on the edge of the Wolfsberger penalty area as Davies leaves Eric Lamella's through ball. I think he was hoping that one of his teammates would swing in behind. As it was, there's nobody there. Tottenham now have to turn and face as Gustav Henriksen brings the ball forward. The Swede into Michael Liendl. And now Dominic Baumgartner. Baumgartner across to Luka Lokashvili. Lokashvili into Jonathan Scherzer. Now Strasnik again, who's been really busy in the centre of midfield. He's touched the ball more than any other Wolfsberger player at the moment. Lokashvili finds Liendl. That's a lovely sweeping ball from the captain. Their top goal scorer in the competition, actually 5 goals from central midfield for the skipper. Liendl plays a nice ball out to Scherzer on the left. Scherzer, high, hanging ball in towards the edge of the 18-yard box. Ben Davies will head it away. Now Henriksen has to step in and almost just clear it away under pressure from Dele Alli. It will be a Tottenham throw-in midway inside their own half. And just seen a replay of this again from Dele Alli. Wonderful improvisation to take a touch. It's the fact that he's facing away from goal, and it's just that natural thought of, right, I'm going to fling my foot at this, and then the accuracy to get it into that corner. Just absolutely no chance for the goalkeeper, Manuel Coutinho, who won't be happy at being beaten by a bicycle kick, but if you're going to be beaten by it, that's the way to do it. It's Wolfsberger in a good position here, but Manuel Novak just pulled out of that challenge. Kai Strasnik then lofts the ball up in the air for Dario Vizinga, is pushed in the back. The referee, though, unmoved. Referee today is Mate Jug, the Slovenian. As Toby Alderweireld hooks the ball away for Steffen Bergwijn. I've been really impressed with Bergwijn in the opening 16 minutes of this game, as Dele Alli tries to zip a ball through to Carlos Vinicius and just goes ahead of him. He runs through to the goalkeeper, Coutinho. Now, there are some other games going on this evening, of course. It is a busy night for Football Champions League matches, as well as a couple in the Championship that are all available on this service. I'll run you through those in a moment, because Tottenham are breaking here with Lamella into Vinicius, but the little flick from Vinicius is a poor one. Wolfsberger are just about able to break away with Christopher Vanitzig into Cheku Dieng, who's got Michael Novak on this right-hand side. Will play it and then break forward. Novak has to find Michael Liendl just 5 yards to the side of him. Liendl, though, under pressure from Bergwijn, goes back to Henriksen. Now Strasnik into Henriksen again, and clips an aimless ball over the top that Joe Hart will collect inside his penalty area. So, as I say, there are other games available on this service this evening. In the Champions League at 8 o'clock, Atalanta take on Real Madrid, and Borussia Mönchengladbach face off against Manchester City. Both of those games available on this service, as are 2 games from the English Second Division, as Swansea and Coventry kick off at 7 o'clock, before Preston Queen's Park Rangers is the 7:45 kick-off. Oh, those games available on this service later on this evening, as Matt Doherty, and now it's an opportunity maybe for Venitsnik, the birthday boy as it were, turning 31 today, the Wolfsberger central midfielder. It's not been the happiest of birthdays. The opening 18 minutes of this game. It's Tottenham Hotspur 1, Wolfsberger 0 in this independent off-tube studio-based commentary of the UEFA. Ali has to turn left then right before finding Harry Winks. Winks and Ali exchange a couple of passes once again for Steven Bergwijn under pressure from Gustav Henriksen. Looks like he was caught there by the Swede, and Bergwijn just asking the man in the middle, Matej Jug, whether it was a foul or not. The referee, with a shake of his head, allows play to go on. Ben Davies will try and break forward himself. The Welshman, with the captain's armband on this evening, just about finding Eric Lamela, and then Moussa Sissoko's pass out to the right-hand side is overhit, and he goes out of play for a throw-in for the visitors. He's looking at the Tottenham bench. Harry Kane, Lucas Moura and Heung-min Son all sat watching on, surveying whether or not they'll be used today. There are a couple of young players on the Tottenham Hotspur bench this evening. 20-year-old Marcel Lavinier, 17-year-old Niall John and 16-year-old Dane Scarlett are all among the substitutes, so potentially we will see some young lads getting their opportunity. Jose Mourinho did say he would like to give them the chance if the game allows it. Here's Kai Strasnik out to Gustav Henriksen. Now Michael Novak forced back to the halfway line to Dominic Baumgartner. Now Strasnik again into Henriksen, who has a look up and finds Michael Liendl. Liendl, that's a nice ball into the feet of Dario Vizinga. Now Liendl again, the only player with a bit of spark about him at the moment. He finds Scherzer, who strikes it wide from the edge of the area. Jonathan Scherzer with a little, not quite marauding run forward, but got himself into a good position. Liendl with the ball into him. It's not the worst of strikes, perhaps doesn't catch it as well as he would have liked, but nonetheless Joe Hart had to get across and cover his post as the ball drifted wide. It's the nearest we've come to a goal actually since the goal on 10 minutes. Dele Alli's bicycle kick. All that separates the two is a long ball forward. May well unleash Carlos Vinicius here inside the area. Brazilian under pressure, tries to get the cross in. It's blocked by Baumgartner, who's across there. Lokashvili goes across to help as Bergwijn takes over. Finding Harry Winks, back to Bergwijn again. To Eric Dyer, here's Toby Alderweireld, out to the right-hand side, and Eric Lamela, who rides away from one challenge. Lamela into Vinicius, who tried to just allow the ball to come across him. In the end, his touch was heavy, and the Baumgartner was able to get in, but Eric Lamela there just breezed away from Venitsig like he wasn't there. Baumgartner just put enough pressure on him. To make sure that he couldn't get a clear connection on it. As a long ball out to this left-hand side goes out of play. Steven Bergwijn looking to get involved down the left. Be Michael Novak to take a throw in here on this near right-hand side in front of his manager Ferdinand Feldhofer, watching on as Novak finds Venitsnik. Now Lokashvili, and it's a poor pass from him before Harry Winks dives into a challenge and catches Michael Liendl. It will be a free kick almost on the centre spot for Wolfsberger. It's not the greatest of challenges at all, actually, from Harry Winks. Just dived into it. He's perhaps lucky that he didn't get a yellow card. As now Wolfsberger have it with Henriksen on halfway. Long ball up from him, aiming for Vizinga. Just ran ahead of him, but looks lively, does Vizinga up front. He's trying to sit on the shoulder of the last defender all the time. Looking at a replay, it might have been just played onside there by Eric Dyer. I think he was trying to almost flick it behind him, it looked like. In the end, he just missed it completely. It ran through harmlessly into the goalkeeper. Here's Toby Alderweireld out to Matt Doherty. Doherty into Harry Winks again. Winks twisting and turning away from Vinitsny. Like he wasn't even there. Sissoko is dispossessed by Vinitsny, but it fell for Winks. Now a crossfield ball finds Bergwijn, who brings it down terrifically into the area, skipping inside. Steffen Bergwijn, great challenge from Dominic Baumgartner to prevent Bergwijn from getting the shot off. Just did so well there to stay alive, keep himself on his feet until the moment he needed to dive in and make the challenge. That's what you want to see from your centre-back. Really good piece of defending from Baumgartner. Just kept his feet and then went to ground. Really, really important challenge. There's been a decent response actually from Wolfsberger after going behind. Tottenham 1, Wolfsberger 0, and the Austrians have come the closest to scoring the second goal of the game. Jonathan Scherzer with an opportunity from the left-hand side, struck it well after a nice ball out to him from Michael Liendl, and he got just into the penalty area, struck it across goal, but harmlessly wide of Joe Hart's left-hand post. Tottenham have looked dangerous and continue to look a threat every time they go forward, especially down the left with Steffen Bergwijn. The Dutchman's been getting on the ball a lot, trying to skip infield at the moment. He's being kept at bay by Gustav Henriksen and Dominic Baumgartner, but Tottenham, as I say, just look a threat every time they go forward. Tottenham 1, Wolfsberger 0. So 24 and a half minutes on the clock. Tottenham 1, Wolfsberger 0. Tottenham leading by 5 goals to 1 on aggregate. It feels like this game could drift away from them. The tie could drift even further away from them if they don't start causing problems for Spurs at the moment. Jose Mourinho will be really happy with the way that he's side and managing the game through. They're not allowing Wolfsberger any space, really. The only thing I think that would annoy Jose Mourinho is the fact that his side perhaps haven't created enough clear-cut chances, as Steffen Bergwijn is adjudged to have fouled Gustav Henriksen there, it looked like. And now Cheikhou Dieng can try and break forward here. The Senegalese, that's a nice ball actually, aiming for Vinitsny, who turns here inside the area. He's looking for an option just to lay the ball off to. There was nobody around him and Tottenham were able to clear, but that was an opportunity missed. And now Tottenham will go on the break with Lamela out to this left-hand side and Dele Alli. As Lamela continues his run, Alli with a cross-field outside of the right foot ball that evades everybody. Carlos Vinicius is able to pick it up out on the right-hand side and find Matt Doherty. Doherty into Bergwijn. Now Harry Winks back to Bergwijn again. This out on the right-hand side, sort of the middle third of the pitch, where Alderweireld and then Eric Dyer eventually collect possession inside the centre circle. Here's Moussa Sissoko out to the right-hand side of Winks, who's just stayed in that sort of position. He finds Eric Lamela, who takes a touch, trying to skip away, and Lamela is fouled by Vinitsny. It will be a free kick to Tottenham, about 10 yards inside the Wolfsberg half. But it was a good Wolfsberger half, sorry. But it was a good breakaway from Spurs. It was the right idea from Dele Alli. Not sure why he didn't go with his left foot, and he flung his arms in the air because Vinicius just didn't gamble at the back post. It's Cheikhou Dieng tries to go the long way round Eric Dyer, who steps across, wins the ball, and then gives it back to Joe Hart. Hart out to Davis. Now Sissoko facing his own goal. Finds Harry Winks. Out now to the right-hand side and Toby Alderweireld. Tottenham very much in control here. Currently maintaining possession as Vinicius goes all the way back to Joe Hart. That potentially shows you what Wolfsberger are doing in terms of their defensive play. They're standing the ground well. Making it tough for Spurs to be able to get out of their own half at the moment, as Cheikhou Dieng puts the pressure on. It means that Ben Davis gets his pass all wrong. Straight out of play, just looking at this ball from Cheikhou Dieng into Christopher Vinicius, should I say. Now Henriksen will go all the way back to goalkeeper Manuel Coutin. Coutin into Dominic Baumgartner. Gartner into the feet of Michael Liendl, just inside his own half, and at the end Wolfsberger are forced all the way back to their goalkeeper. cutting with an interesting ball out to the left-hand side. The Lokashvili just had to clear, and Dele Alli goes down under the challenge of Kai Strasnik. The referee allows play to go on as Ali's back on his feet now and under pressure from Vizinga. Here's Alderweireld into Harry Winks. Now Dele Alli just to the right of the centre circle. Sissoko's moving particularly well in the centre circle. Just one to keep an eye on. Not sure whether he's putting his boot on or what, as he takes a heavy touch here and just invited pressure. Spurs are able to come away with it with Bergwijn. Back to Ben Davies. Davies will find Bergwijn again, facing his own goal. He rides away from the challenge of Gustav Henriksson and goes over the outstretched leg of the Swede. And it will be a free kick to Tottenham, midway inside their own half, out to the left-hand side as the camera pans onto Dele Alli, independent off-tube studio-based commentary of the Europa League, and he's put a decent performance so far. Dele Alli, he's been drifting in and out of the side in recent weeks. Happy with what he's done so far. It was his second Europa League goal of the season as he tries to get away from Baumgartner. Somewhat harshly, he's adjudged to have fouled the Wolfsberger defender. Didn't look like he did much wrong there as he broke through. The referee very, very quick to make the decision. Ali, who's only made that many appearances actually this season. Just looking now, he's only made 6 appearances in the league this year, 5 in the Europa League, this being appearance number 6, as Tottenham have some defending to do here. Jonathan Scherzer on the left-hand side tries to pull it across, and he just kicked the floor really as he went to cross it. So Tottenham able to clear through Toby Alderweireld, and then Carlos Vinicius is fouled by Luka Lokashvili. Georgia not allowing the Brazilian Vinicius any sort of room at all. The decision was made by the referee to give that free kick. Tottenham in control in terms of possession, 60% in favour of the North London club. Just over half an hour on the clock. It's Tottenham 1, Wolfsberger 0. Spurs of course leading by 5-1 on aggregate. Here's Ben Davies, carrying the ball forward on the left into Steven Bergwijn, who will skip in field. Find Dele Alli. Alli with a high, hanging crossfield ball, and a nice one as well, into Matt Doherty's feet. The Irishman not having to move at all. Now it's into the path of Eric Dyer. Now for Dele Alli on the left. Alli, who's almost playing a free role really, just trying to pick up pockets of space as and when. Bergwijn plays a nice little 1-2 with Harry Winks. Here's Eric Lamela. Lamela onto his left foot, gets the shot off that's blocked. Doherty won't challenge Scherzer there inside the area. Scherzer able to take a touch and then hooks it clear. Looking for Michael Liendl. This is over the top of him for Sissoko. Now Ben Davies. Davies into Dele Alli on the left, midway inside Wolfsberger territory. He will look to play a nice little threaded ball into Bergwijn. Bergwijn trying to go down the left-hand edge of the area, is forced out of it to Ben Davies. Davies into Sissoko now. Still being played on the left-hand side. Bergwijn with a lovely turn, trying to shift it onto his right foot and get a shot off. Just pressed and hassled before Dele Alli plays a percentage ball into the area that Scherzer will clear. Tottenham will have to reset as Alli nods the ball all the way back to Joe Hart. Tottenham will start again, but good build-up play again from Spurs. Doing, I suppose, what you'd expect them to be doing against a team of this calibre, with no disrespect at all to Wolfsberger, who did incredibly well actually to get this far in the competition. Very little was expected of them when they were drawn against Dutch and Russian giants Feyenoord and CSKA Moskva respectively, but they have certainly proved that they're no pushover. At the moment they are wobbling, but they've not been pushed aside just yet in this game at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Here's Michael Novak into Cheku Dieng. Dieng finds Liendl on the edge of the area, back to Novak again. Just forced back up the line by Harry Winks. Good defending from the midfielder there just to force him back, and now Vinicius will turn into Kai Strasnik, and Strasnik looking to try and break down the left into Scherzer. Scherzer with the ball in. aiming for Vizinga, it's away. Now they can break away, can Tottenham? Lamela looked like he was fouled, but a through ball may well release Dele Alli, but out comes Manuel Coutinho. Good goalkeeping from the man between the sticks this evening. Came out and cleared it, and he was almost on the edge of the centre circle when he actually got his foot out there. Sort of the modern day sweeper keeper in action. As Eric Lamela goes to ground to win possession. It was a good challenge on Dominic Baumgartner. The midfielder, though, the defender, sorry, didn't enjoy the fact that the referee refused to give the free kick. So Spurs are able to clear here up towards Carlos Vinicius, who claims he was fouled. The referee, once again, with a shake of the head, allows play to go on. And Cheku Dieng now out to Michael Novak, edge of the Tottenham penalty area. Plays a ball in for Vizinga. And in the end, it was Liendl who ghosted in there. Their top scorer in this competition, finding himself in a good area as that ball's played across. Just diverted it, looking for the bottom corner. And it's a routine save, I think is the way that you'd phrase it. But an opportunity nonetheless. That's all that Wolfsberger can really ask for. It's all that the manager Ferdinand Feldhofer can request of his side, is to get themselves into these good positions, try and create opportunities. It's Wolfsberger's fourth attempt of the day, their second on target. Tottenham have had 5 attempts apparently, just the one on target. I don't really remember anything other than Harry Winks' strike that went a long way over the bar. Oh yeah, and Stefan Bergwijn's shot that went wide. But Tottenham haven't bossed this in terms of creating opportunities. It's been the Austrians who have actually tested the goalkeeper more, with 10 minutes to go in this first half. Wolfsberger continue to ask questions of Spurs at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Tottenham 1, Wolfsberger 0, and it's the Austrians who have actually tested Joe Hart more than Spurs have tested Manuel Coutinho, should I say, in the opposition goal. The best opportunity for the visitors, Michael Liendl getting on the end of a Michael Novak cross from the right-hand side. He diverted it towards the bottom right-hand corner, and Joe Hart was down relatively smartly to make a comfortable save that you would expect the former England #1 to make. And as much as Tottenham have had more of the ball, they've had 60% possession so far, but haven't really tested the back line at all, with Baumgartner, Henriksen and Lokashvili standing up well and making it difficult for Tottenham to get some real shots at goal. Tottenham Hotspur 1, Wolfsberger 0. Looks as though Matt Doherty's just been booked for a foul on Jonathan Scherzer. Just looking at a replay. Ooh, yeah, it's not a good charge at all actually from Doherty. Initially it looked harsh, but in the end it was a relatively straightforward yellow card, it looks like. That's something that Jose Mourinho will want his side to avoid, to get themselves yellow carded and potentially make their later path in the competition more difficult. As Eric Dyer goes all the way back to the goalkeeper, and again Tottenham will just start from the back line and look to unleash something through a Joe Hart long ball forward. It's flicked on and then headed away and dealt with relatively comfortably, as now Wolfsberger look to come forward with Scherzer on the left into Liendl, back to the halfway line, and Strasnik, who plays a nice ball into this right hand area to Michael Novak. Novak though forced backwards, just breaking down again, but Wolfsberger remaining in possession, trying to create themselves something with Michael Liendl. Liendl then with a ball that goes all the way back to his goalkeeper Manuel Coutinho. Coutinho will hook a long ball out, aiming for Cheku Dieng. It's headed away by Matt Doherty and out of play. It's an opportunity that breaks down. The goalkeeper not having much to do really, other than picking the ball out of the back of his net so far. Spurs have just tried to inject some pace into what they're doing. They've tried to build and do something a little bit different, but they've just not been able to to create anything really. They have tried, but yet to test Manuel Coutin. As Ben Davies is fortunate there in a battle with Michael Novak, but then he does really well to bring a long ball down. It was whipped over the top of him and he clears it looking for Dele Alli. Ali will put the pressure on. It just made Gustav Henriksen think twice before clearing. And now it will be a Tottenham throw-in on the left-hand side with 6.5 minutes to play in this first period. Tottenham 1, Wolfsberger 0. And Davies to go across and take. Finds Stefan Bergwijn, back for Davies, who returns it back to the Dutchman. Bergwijn, again, always looking to skip in field on that right foot. He's not looking to commit and go left, as Dele Alli is fouled by Christopher Vernitsnig. It'll be a free kick for Tottenham, in a good position this, about 35, maybe 40 yards out. Vernitsnig just stepping across, catching the shin of Dele Alli, who was going away from goal. With Ben Davies, who's stepping over this. Referee just saying not to take it until the whistle is blown. Very, very clear that he doesn't want anything to happen until he says so. Davies it is who whips it in left-footed. It's flicked away, and then a powerful header from Lokoshvili to fully clear. Now Cheku Dieng, midway inside his own half, goes back and it's hooked clear from Ben Davies' attempted header away. Just comes off the face of Dario Vizinga. Harry Winks into Moussa Sissoko as Tottenham again just regain possession. Here's Toby Alderweireld, the Belgian, now to Davies. Davies back for Dyer. Tottenham just ticking things over at the moment, not setting the world alight with 5 minutes to go in this opening half. Spurs at the moment comfortably on their way through to the last 16. It's Davies' ball towards Vinicius. It was sort of a ball actually towards Dele Alli, and it went between Alli and Vinicius. To deal with, but all they seem to be able to do is hook the ball clear, and it means that Tottenham regain possession and try and get forward as quick as they can. As Sissoko does well to keep it in play on the right. Lamela under pressure from Strasnik does well and then rides another challenge, but he's ball through to Dele Alli, took a deflection. Again, Wolfsberg are able to clear, but Sissoko able to win it back quickly. And Tottenham will come once again with Davies this time on the left-hand side into Bergwijn. Davies once again under pressure from Cheku Dieng. Has to go back to Harry Winks. This could be a big night this for Tottenham. If they manage to score 2 more goals, they'll be the first English club to get to 100 goals in the Europa League. 98 goals as Matt Doherty is adjudged to have fouled Luka Lokoshvili. Lokoshvili unhappy with the amount of contact given. It was just a pullback really from Doherty, nothing more than that. Just seeing again the replay of the goal, it really is a terrific one to try and find somewhere to watch it. Great first touch from Ali. Bounces up, it just sits up perfectly. Manuel Coutin is really not expecting it. But then the accuracy to find that bottom corner, as I say, it's very similar to the Olivier Giroud one yesterday for Chelsea. I've seen on social media there's polls as to which goal is better, which again tells you exactly how good a bicycle kicker is from Dele Alli, because Olivier Giroud yesterday was superb. As Lamela skipping in field here, 25 yards out, plays a nice ball out from the centre to the right hand side of Doherty in field to Alderweireld, who returns it back to Doherty now. Former Wolves man, plays a give and go with Sissoko, gets to the byline, does Doherty, the cross towards Vinicius, whose header's over the bar. And it's the first real Tottenham opportunity that we've seen, really since the goal, but a header over the top from Vinicius. Again though, it's Matt Doherty on the right hand side who's busy. Got the assist of course for Dele Alli in there. Decent ball in. Vinicius just struggled to get there and in the end couldn't divert it towards goal. Of course, in European competition, just a reminder, it is 5 substitutions are allowed on an evening, so in these games, so I would fully expect there to be plenty of substitutions as the game goes on, especially for Tottenham. Joe Hart floats the ball out to the right-hand side, flicked on by Matt Doherty, aiming for Eric Lamela, who tries to put a challenge in on Luka Lokashvili, and then goes to ground and does win it back. And now Spurs can break here with Lamela, through ball for Vinicius, who's onside. Vinicius rounds the keeper. What a block that is from, I think it was Gustav Henriksen, who's there in the right place at the right time. And Carlos Vinicius really should have scored. That should be 2-0 and game and tie completely over. But what a piece of defending from Gustav Henriksen. The long ball forward runs through to Joe Hart. We should be talking about game, set and match. Instead, we're just talking about game and set as Lamela rides a couple of challenges brilliantly, the Argentine. Infield for Dele Alli. Spurs looking to finish this half strong as Bergwijn skips inside on his right foot, saved by Kutin, and then chested down to him as Vinicius tries to leave one in, but Vinicius just played in brilliantly by Eric Lamela. It's Lamela who actually wins the ball initially off Luka Lokashvili and then breaks. As he plays it, Vinicius well onside, and he does the hard work by rounding the keeper. But then, as opposed to sort of rifling it, he tried to slot it along the floor. And then Henriksen able to slide in and clear. It's the best opportunity we've seen without a goal in this game. Tottenham really should have wrapped this game up. They should have wrapped the night up. Jose Mourinho watching on, just looking at the floor, looking frustrated really. He'll be frustrated, I think, with that man, Carlos Vinicius, who has had 4 goals in his last 3 games in the Europa League. It's been a competition for him that he has enjoyed playing in for Tottenham. It's also, I think, been the competition that he's most been involved in. Just the 6 league appearances for him this season. He's now on 7 Europa League games, should I say. As the half-time whistle blows, Dele Alli's bicycle kick set Tottenham on the way on 10 minutes, and really this should be 2 up. On the stroke of half-time, Carlos Vinicius saw his shot blocked by Gustav Henriksen on the line at half-time at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It's Tottenham 1, Wolfsberger 0. They lead 5-1 on aggregate. Join me for second half commentary in 15 minutes. Vinicius should have made it 2 just before the break, but rounded the keeper and saw his shot cleared off the line. I can tell you there's been 2 changes for the visitors for this second half. Mario Pavelic and Dejan Jevelic have come on for Dario Visinga and Michael Novak. Just trying to figure out exactly how it means the team sets up. It looks as though it's just like for like, with Pavelic playing as the right wing back. The game is underway, by the way. Michael Liendl is in possession. Stoppage in play. I'll run through the 2 team lineups. Tottenham are unchanged incidentally for this second period. It looks as though Liendl's going to play a more advanced role than he did in the opening 45, just because of the way they've set up here. So Dominic Baumgartner gets the cross and goes back to goalkeeper Manuel Kutin. Kutin now into the feet of Christopher Vernitsnig. That's a nice ball into Michael Liendl inside the centre circle. Now out to this left-hand side of Jonathan Scherzer. Bright start from the visitors as Scherzer breaking, trying to get away from Matt Doherty, twisting and turning. In the end, the Irishman puts the challenge in, and Harry Winks will now find Eric Lamela. Maybe Tottenham will be able to break away here. The Argentine into the feet now of Ben Davies, over halfway to Dele Alli. As Ali's pass is poor, it will be won back by the visitors. Now running through the 2 team lineups. For Tottenham is Joe Hart in goal. A back 4 from right to left of Matt Doherty, Eric Dyer, Toby Alderweireld and Ben Davies. It's Moussa Sissoko and Harry Winks in the middle with Eric Lamela. The goal scorer Dele Alli and Stefan Bergwijn behind Carlos Vinicius. For Wolfsberger, who are in possession at the moment down the left-hand side, it's Manuel Kutin in goal, Dominic Baumgartner, Gustav Henriksen and Luka Lokashvili at the back. Mario Pavelic, Christopher Vernitsnig, Michael Liendl, Kais Strasnig and Jonathan Scherzer across the middle, with Cheku Dieng and Dejan Jevelic up front. So Dyer has to go across and put a challenge in to prevent Wolfsberger from breaking down the right-hand side. Smile on the face of the Wolfsberger boss, Mr. Ferdinand Feldhofer. Watching and looking relatively relaxed. I don't think he'll be too upset with what his team has did in the opening 45. It was an improvement on their opening 45 a week ago when they were 3-0 down at the break. This time just the solitary goal between the 2, as Kai Strasnig will find Jonathan Scherzer on this left-hand side. Back to Strasnig again. Wolfsberger, who started the first half relatively well, they were passing the ball around, they were looking relatively sharp, but then conceded against the run of play. I'm sure they'll be looking to try and have the same type of opening exchanges in terms of them being on the ball and trying to break. So much in the way of conceding. It's more forward. It's headed away by Toby Alderweireld. Then Dele Alli nods it down for Carlos Vinicius here, the Brazilian. It's back to Ben Davies, into Harry Winks, just inside the Wolfsberger half. He finds Davies again, now midway inside the visiting territory. That passing field was left by Dele Alli. It was brought down by Jonathan Scherzer. That's a really good challenge on halfway by Matt Doherty. Now Eric Lamela, who's got Moussa Sissoko to his right. Lamela keeps going, goes down. The referee immediately telling him to get up, as Wolfsberger may well be in here. Ball over the top for Dieng, and Cheku Dieng is into the area, goes down under the challenge of Eric Dyer, and the referee doesn't give anything. Surprisingly, Matejuk just had a look, and it looked like Eric Dyer had just cut straight across the back of Dieng. It'd be interesting to see a replay, independent off-tube studio-based commentary, of course, this evening, and it looked as though he'd been caught there, but Tottenham will come forward anyway with Doherty into Winks. Winks has support out on the left-hand side in the form of Dele Alli. As Davies makes an overlapping run, here is Ben Davies, cuts in field, finds Dele Alli again. Alli with an early ball in, aiming for Vinicius, who headers it down into the ground and into the back of the net. And Wolfsberger, who felt as though they should have had a free kick at one end, have now conceded at the other, and it's Dele Alli involved. Ali's cross nodded home by Vinicius, who should have scored in the opening 45, and Tottenham now have even more breathing room as Ferdinand Feldhofer asks a few questions, but it's Tottenham who at the moment have the answers. Tottenham 2, Wolfsberger 0. Tottenham have doubled their advantage over the Austrian side. It's Tottenham 2, Wolfsberger 0. Dele Alli involved once again. This time, Ali picking the ball up on the left-hand side and floating a delightful ball into the back post, where Brazilian Carlos Vinicius, who should have scored in the first half, made no mistake at the second time of asking. Deadly header down into the ground, giving Manuel Coutinho absolutely no chance. This coming after Wolfsberger believed there was a foul on the edge of the Tottenham penalty area when Cheku Dieng was brought down by Eric Dyer. The referee allowed play to go on and Tottenham punished them at the other end. Tottenham 2, Wolfsberger 0, and Spurs now lead 6-1 on aggregate. I said that they wanted to avoid the same start as the first half. Well, they've had more or less exactly the same, as Vinicius brings it down here, edge of the Tottenham area. Spurs under pressure. Ball in towards the near post from Pavlic. Just diverted off Ben Davies and behind for a corner. Opportunity now for the visitors to try and load the penalty area and get themselves a goal. But a big opportunity that. First time really that they've got into a crossing position and looked to put a ball in. Just seeing a replay again of the coming together between Dyer and Dieng. I think Dieng is looking for it, but it still looked like a foul for all it's worth, and I'm happy by it as the corner's taken short. What a waste, as Tottenham have won it back, and now they can break away with Vinicius. An early ball into Bergwijn, who leaves it for Winks, who didn't really know it was being left, and move breaks down. Jose Mourinho pointing at where he thought that should have gone and what should have been done better. As Wolfsberger now try and come forward, the ball from Liendl brought down by Sissoko, who goes back to Joe Hart, who's lofted it straight up in the air. Doherty and then Sissoko between them, just about clear, but Sissoko goes back to Hart again, who this time wraps his foot around it properly and gets a good clearance on it. It's Tottenham 2, Wolfsberger 0, 52 minutes on the clock in this independent off-tube studio commentary of the Europa League, as Vinicius manages to ride a couple of challenges. He goes down, the free kick is given. Baumgartner, the man who put the challenge in, no doubt about it really, he just steps across him as Vinicius tried to glide away. Definitely a foul from Dominic Baumgartner. Vinicius' first goal in his last 6 matches, it said on here, which I think is right. He scored 4 goals in the Europa League this season, so it's his 5th goal in his 7 Europa League games so far. As Eric Dyer is stood over this free kick here. Now, I would say it's in Dyer territory, but it's in Dyer shooting territory. 35 yards out, he drills it with his instep, it deflects it to Matt Doherty. Doherty now into Lamela. Lamela into the area, the shot saved by Manuel Coutinho. The goalkeeper just stayed big as Lamela prodded it towards goal. He just had to keep his shape and make sure that he had as much of his goal covered as possible. Corner taken quickly by Lamela, returned back to him by Sissoko. Lamela now being charged by Michael Liendl, and he skips away from him and then away from Scherzer, and then the shot comes in that's headed up in the air by Luka Lokashvili. Goes behind for a corner. Lokashvili not in the way, but Lamela able to dance away from Strasnik like he wasn't even there. I think it was a cross, but Lokashvili just got himself in the way. Steven Bergwijn. Play for a Wolfsberger throw in. See the replay again. And Lamella's effort was going towards that corner that Lokashvili had to get in the way of. He did well and did just enough as Sissoko just breezes away from Vinitsnik. Nike wasn't even there. Now Lamella into Harry Winks as Tottenham look to get themselves forward, and I think Spurs can feel like this game is well and truly getting away from Wolfsberger, who will want to keep the score down as much as they can. Ben Davies into Stefan Bergwijn, who spins. He's got Lamella to his right, and Lamella gives it back to him, and now back to Lamella again, onto his left foot. Lamella over the bar. But Bright from Tottenham, they're beginning to play with that sort of freedom you would expect them to be playing with against opposition like this. It was a lovely piece of football between Bergwijn and Lamella, interchanging 3 times before Lamella tried to just whip his foot around it and blazed it relatively comfortably over the crossbar. A reminder, there are still games coming up on this service this evening. In the Championship at 7 o'clock, it's Swansea taking on Coventry before Preston QPR is a 7:45 kickoff. And in the Champions League this evening, 2 8 o'clock kickoffs available to listen to on this service. Atalanta and Real Madrid face off, whereas Manchester City travel to Germany to take on Borussia Mönchengladbach. Both those games are the first legs. Tottenham, of course, the only Europa League game this evening. Tottenham 2, Wolfsberger 0. Gareth Bale is running around with a ball around the outside of the pitch there. Interesting to see whether he will be introduced. He made a real impact against West Ham, of course, at the weekend in that 2-1 defeat. Interesting to see what changes Jose Mourinho makes in the closing stages of this game. As Ben Davies under pressure. Davies just about manages to retain it. Michael Liendl very close to nipping in and taking it off him. And now Winks will find Lamella. Lamella always looking to cut in field midway inside the Wolfsberger half. He finds Sissoko, whose pass is behind Lamella. Sissoko then went to follow it to try and win it back, but it's Jonathan Scherzer who wins it back. Now Kai Strasnik out to the right hand side, and Mario Pavlic has to go infield. It's at the feet of Dominic Baumgartner. It's a lovely turn there in the middle from Christian Vinitsnik, should I say. And then finds Luka Lokashvili. Now Baumgartner again. Just looking up here, edge of the centre circle. He plays it over the halfway line to Vinitsnik again. He in turn will look up and try to slot it through the middle, aiming for Liendl. It's won back by Sissoko, and then Doherty will just clear it up to Vinicius, who brought it down well. Looked like he was wrestled off the ball by Baumgartner. That's what the referee decided as well. And then the attempted quick release of the free kick is not allowed by the referee. So Tottenham forced to start it again with Harry Winks out to the right hand side of Matt Doherty. Doherty into Sissoko. Sissoko all the way back to Alderweireld, who plays it from right to left to Dyer. And now Dyer out to the left wing, and Ben Davies over halfway to Vinicius, who tried to play it round a corner to Dele Alli. If he gets that pass right, Ali could well have been through. Instead, it's Wolfsberger who are in possession. Michael Liendl into Kai Strasnik. Lovely feet to get away from Vinicius, and he's tried to slot it through for Dejan Joveljic, who's yet to get on the ball really since coming on. The substitute, the half-time change. The top scorer in league football this year, with 8 goals scored in 18 matches. It's a relatively good record, just the 2 goals in the Europa League this season. Doherty under pressure can't keep his clearance in. Gareth Bale's back out. He's just been up in the tunnel for some reason, Gareth Bale, but he's back on the pit, back on the sideline now. Interesting to see whether he comes on or not, as Vinitsnik finds Liendl, the most dangerous player in this competition. 5 goals for him as he whips the ball in for Joveljic, whose header goes wide. But a good opportunity that. Nice ball into the area from Liendl, who's been his side's best player. Liendl's delivery is a good one as well with that left foot. Joveljic definitely onside. He's just trying to overcompensate. In the end, he got up well. Just tried to find that top corner, but went harmlessly wide. They're back on the ball again here of Wolfsberger. Lokoshvili into Scherzer. It's a poor ball from him infield, and Sissoko and Lamela between them will come away with it before Winks' attempted crossfield ball is blocked by Liendl. They have to go back to Joe Hart, who will knock it out for Ben Davies now. Just over the hour mark in this game. Tottenham 2, Wolfsberger 0. Vinicius is fouled this time by Dominic Baumgartner, and Baumgartner goes into the book. Just too strong. It's another bundling challenge from the centre half. He's had it a few times where Vinicius has just been smarter than him and stepped across, almost put a right leg out and waited for the challenge to come. It means that Baumgartner will miss the next match in this competition, not that they're going to be playing in it this season. It's Kai Strasnik now in possession. Finds Michael Liendl. Liendl's just eased off the ball by Dele Alli. He didn't look like there was too much wrong. Looks like we're potentially going to see another change here for Wolfsberger. Guram Belidze is the player that's stripping off and ready to come on as Lokoshvili, the other Georgian in the squad. Belidze, also of Georgian descent. Ball forward that will be headed away by Eric Dyer. Ben Davies can't keep it in play. It goes out for a Wolfsberger throw-in on the right-hand side. Chances for both sides at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It's Tottenham 2, Wolfsberger 0. Spurs have had a decent opportunity at the other end to try and get themselves that third goal. Both sides are creating chances at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It's Tottenham Hotspur 2, Wolfsberger 0, and Eric Lamela had a good opportunity to make it 3. A good piece of interplay, saw Lamela pick it up right-hand side of the area, and he stabbed his shot towards goal. Forced a relatively comfortable save from Manuel Kutin, who just spread himself, stood his ground, and made a relatively decent save. At the other end, Michael Liendl continues to cause problems, and rather than him having a shot this time, the top scorer for Wolfsberger in the Europa League whipped a delightful ball in from the left for substitute Dejan Jevelic, who rose well, tried to power his header across goal, just overcompensated, and the ball went out of play comfortably for a goal kick. This game is still on, despite Tottenham leading 6-1 on aggregate, and they continue to try and get forward and get themselves a third. Tottenham 2, Wolfsberger 0. I mentioned earlier that Tottenham, at the beginning of the game, were 3 goals away from being, from getting over the 100 goals in the Europa League mark. The first English side to do that. They're now just 1 goal away from it, as Lamela has it now inside the area. Eric Lamela looks to pull it right across the face of goal. It evades everybody. Picked up by Steven Bergwijn by this right-hand touchline. Up against Jonathan Scherzer. He skips left and then right before going back to Harry Winks, still inside the Wolfsberger penalty area. A little give-and-go attempt. The give was poor. Go wasn't on. Wolfsberg were able to clear. Just moves breaking down really for Spurs, but Lamela did incredibly well initially to open up the space, and then he was rolled through far too easily as he pulls it across. It's one of those, if Matt Doherty races in at the near post, he potentially gets there. As he was, he didn't. Able to get rid of it and clear. So this change is happening. Dominic Baumgartner replaced. It's actually a double change here, because the first one does see Guram Belidze come on. And the other change, it looks as though, yeah, it is. It's Jonathan Scherzer who's coming off for Stefan Peric. Peric making just his second appearance in the Europa League this season. It's his third as Lamela, edge of the area, looking to try and open up a shooting opportunity with 65 minutes on the clock at Tottenham 2, Wolfsberger 0. Just to shift it out to Ben Davies, and then Davies with a poor pass as Dieng is fouled here by Davies, who goes into the book himself. Cards beginning to be flashed quite left, right and centre, but it's the 4th yellow card of this game. Baumgartner, who's just been substituted, was on a yellow. Christopher Vernitsnig has been booked as well, and in the first half, Matt Doherty was yellow carded. Now Ben Davies adds to the list. I mentioned that Gareth Bale had been warming up. Well, Bale is now prepped and ready to come on, so the imminent arrival of Gareth Bale, it still seems like a big deal really when Gareth Bale comes on for Tottenham. Still a monumentous occasion for the man who hasn't really set the world alight since his loan move from Real Madrid last summer, but he is beginning to come into his own. Want to come on and cause problems today. He got himself an assist and a goal against Wolfsberger last week as a long ball forward finds Carlos Vinicius inside the area, under pressure from Lokoshvili. He has to turn back away from goal to find Bergwijn. Now Lamela trying to dance through inside Van Perich, who forces it backwards to Harry Winks. Winks now with the ball out to the right hand side of Doherty. Doherty has to go all the way back though to Alderweireld. He plays it from right to left to Eric Dyer. Dyer into Ben Davies' feet. Davies finds Dele Alli, who's gone quiet really since getting the assist for the second goal. But Ali plays a nice little give and go with Davies. Ali with a chance, saved by Coutin down to his left hand side. It's a good opportunity, that good into play. Dele Alli just tried to slot it across goal. Coutin got his angles right, and he was in sort of the goalkeeper's weak spot, almost under his hip if you imagine as he dives. It's a really difficult one for goalkeepers to get down to and save. But a good save nonetheless from the keeper. Wolfsberger survive, and it stays only at 2. I'm sure that the manager Ferdinand Feldhofer would be happy if this game finishes in a better scoreline than that 4-1 defeat last time out. Michael Liendl, the goal scorer that night, will try and get forward himself here with a high hanging ball out towards the left to Gio Belidzi, who plays it across to Liendl. Strasnik gets himself into the area. Gio Belidzi then tries to create something. There's 2 Tottenham players down in the area. At the end there is a foul. Doherty, I think it is, who was the final man to go down. Not sure where the actual foul was actually. Sissoko, Strasnik sort of fell into Sissoko, then Strasnik got up and definitely commits a foul. Lamela is the man withdrawn for Gareth Bale. So Lucas Moura is going to be the other one coming on here. A couple of changes. With Moura, I think, on for Bergwijn was the change. 69 minutes on the clock. As Moura gets his first touch into Dele Alli, who's brought down. So Jose Mourinho certainly not shutting up shop. He's wanting to get this game done and dusted, get themselves the win required. As down goes Moura again, this time fouled. Just over halfway out towards the left of centre. Strasnik it was who just clips the heel of Lucas Moura. It's Strasnik's third foul in about many minutes. As Lucas Moura now on the ball, out to Ben Davies on the left-hand side. Just watching Gareth Bale, just always studying space, trying to make sure that he's open for anything that comes at him. Here's Eric Dyer into Moussa Sissoko, going back towards his own goal. Frenchman with a nice through ball into the feet of Carlos Vinicius. Now here is Gareth Bale, who gets the ball down and tries to get forward. Nice ball into Matt Doherty. Doherty with space, looking to try and get the ball in. But important piece of defending from Guram Gio Belidzi to get across and make sure that ball doesn't go in. Keeps the score down. Good piece of play. And as soon as Bale got on the ball, just driving forward. Doherty definitely onside. Again, Gustav Henriksen seems to be almost behind the defensive line all the time, playing everybody onside. As the corner's whipped in towards the back post, the header from Carlos Vinicius goes away behind for a goal kick, and Vinicius claiming that there was I think he was claiming that it took a nick on its way. Matt Doherty was also in there at the back post. Nothing given though. And Wolfsberg are able to survive and start again as Bale finds Vinicius into Lucas Moura. Moura back now for Dele Alli. To Moura again. That's a lovely little flick from Lucas Moura into Dele Alli, all out towards the left-hand side level with the edge of the 18-yard box. Decent delivery in from Ali. It's cleared away. And the attempted clearance from Mario Pavlic is charged down by Dele Alli. Will be just an opportunity for Wolfsberger to start again with a throw-in level with the edge of their own 6-yard box. And just feels like Tottenham are warming into this game and want to get themselves that next goal. They want that 100-goal record, the first team to get to 100 goals in the Europa League, or the first English team to get to 100 goals in the Europa League, should I say. Here's Winks, plays it across from left to right to Doherty. This right-hand side with Ben Davies. Here's Lucas Moura into Dele Alli, and Ali's got space here. Ali will flick it back to Moura. Moura needs to spin and find a teammate. In the end, he's challenged by Gustav Henriksson, and that was far too easy for Wolfsberger to deal with. Now Luka Lokashvili. I think there's actually been a foul there. Bale just kicking the ball away from Lokashvili as the referee here, Matej Jug, just having a word with, I think it was Matt Doherty there, and it was. So Doherty on a yellow card commits a foul and was brought back. So a really difficult night, I suppose, for Doherty now, because he knows that he's treading on thin ice. He knows that he's in a spot of bother as Dele Alli picks the ball up and will find Gareth Bale. Bale hits it first time into the top corner, and Tottenham well and truly wrap it up now. What a night for Dele Alli, a goal and 2 assists, and a lovely ball across for Gareth Bale to slam home, and Tottenham are well and truly home and hosed now. If they weren't already, they're certainly through to the last 16. Tottenham 3, Wolfsberger 0, and Spurs lead 7-1 on aggregate, I should say. Tottenham well and truly have wrapped things up now at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It's Spurs 3, Wolfsberger 0. Wolfsberger gave the ball away inside their own half to Dele Alli, who slots a lovely ball across the right-hand side of the area where substitute Gareth Bale is stood. Bale steps onto it, left-footed, and smashes it into the top corner to well and truly wrap things up for Tottenham. It's been a good night for them, a good night for Dele Alli, a goal and 2 assists. Tottenham now lead by 3-0 on the night and 7-1 on aggregate. Tottenham Hotspur 3, Wolfsberger 0. Lovely finish from Gareth Bale as well. Just steps onto it, leathers it really into that top corner. Absolutely no chance for Manuel Cutting. And that's exactly the impact that Tottenham want from Gareth Bale. They want him to be coming on in games and scoring goals and creating opportunities. There he got on the end of a really nice ball through to him from Dele Alli. Great composure from the former England regular, I suppose, is the way that you could formulate Dele Alli now. But a lovely goal as Tottenham have made a change. Incidentally, I was talking about Matt Doherty treading on thin ice for the rest of this game. Well, he's been replaced by Marcel Lavinier, should I say. With the number 55 on his chest. Gareth Bale, it's his 3rd goal in the 8 Europa League matches he's played in. For Marcel Lavinier, it's his 1st appearance of the season for Tottenham in the Europa League. It will be his actual debut. I'll confirm that. Ben Davies is being warned about his contact with Luka Lokashvili as a free kick is whipped in by Wolfsberger. It's flicked away off Lavinier. Out of play for a corner and an opportunity for Wolfsberger again to load the penalty area. It's going to be Michael Liendo to whip this in. Lukashvili, Dieng, Peric all inside that area as it's whipped in, left-footed in, swinging, headed away by Dele Alli. And Harry Winks brings it down and it bounced off the floor into his hand. The referee well placed, don't want to give anything. The ball goes all the way back to goalkeeper Manuel Coutin, who hasn't had a bad day today, but he's been unfortunate picking the ball out of the back of his net 3 times. As Gio Belidze is caught in possession here by Lavinia. Lavinia will continue to force the Georgian back to his fellow countryman, Luka Lukashvili, who hooks it clear. And then Dieng is apparently fouled by Eric Dyer. I think that's a little bit harsh on Dyer, who didn't really do anything wrong. And then Toby Alderweireld has been booked for what looks like dissent there. Seemed like they were pretty unhappy. I mean, he was unhappy with the fact a foul was given. It didn't look like he did anything wrong, really. Yellow card for Toby Alderweireld, and an avoidable one, a frustrating one for Jose Mourinho, because in reality it didn't need to happen. Didn't need to go saying anything, but the referee very, very quick to go to his book. It's been the way the second half's gone, really. The Slovenian referee, Matej Jug, has certainly made his feelings known in this second period as Luka Lukashvili plays it down to Guram Giobalidze. Infield now to Kai Strasnik. Strasnik carrying it forward and then will clip a ball over the top himself, looking for Giobalidze. It's away. Then prodded forward by Christopher Vernitsnig. Will be brought down now by Ben Davies. Davies carrying it forward towards the halfway line, finds Moussa Sissoko into Harry Winks. Now out to Marcel Lavinia. Lavinia now into Toby Alderweireld. Tottenham just holding up possession at the moment. They don't want to do anything daft. As Alderweireld clips a crossfield ball from left to right to Ben Davies. And Davies now infield to Lucas Moura. Here's Harry Winks inside the centre circle, out to the right hand side, and Gareth Bale gets the ball down, has a look up, and Harry Winks has made a good run. Bale's pass with the outside of his left foot just a little bit too heavy, allows Gustav Henriksen to get across. Henriksen's ball though is poor, as Marcel Lavinia got there first, then slid in to just about keep it in play, but Wolfsberg are able to clear with their captain Michael Liendo out to the right hand side of Mario Pavlic. To Dieng. Now Liendo, and it didn't look like a foul on him, but the free kick goes against him, and it looks like we are going to see another Tottenham change. The 17-year-old Niall John, it looks like he's going to come on as Wolfsberger make a change of their own. Kai Strasnik is off. He's being replaced by Nemanja Ranić here. Is a centre-back normally, but can play in defensive midfield. And it's going to be a double change here. And we were saying earlier about the fact that there were the 3 young lads on the bench that Jose Mourinho said if the game allows they'll get their opportunity. Well, Dane Scarlett is the other one, the 16-year-old, who looks as though he's going to come on. So a 20-year-old Marcel Lavinia came on. And now Niall John wearing the number 57, and Dane Scarlett wearing the number 53. He's going to come on and make an appearance and get their opportunities to make a name for themselves, but get their opportunities to play in the Europa League and help their side through to the last 16 as we approach the 80th minute. So they'll get about 10 minutes as Sissoko nips in, and Tottenham are breaking again. Moussa Sissoko through the legs, trying to get to the edge of the area. Lukashvili had to go across and make a really important challenge and clear it away. Dane Scarlett, who has already played in the Europa League this year, came on in the final group stage match, I believe. It's Carlos Vinicius battling away. Goes back to Dele Alli. Alli into Lucas Moura. Moura now into Winks, who skips away, wriggling away onto his right foot. Harry Winks over the bar. And harmlessly wide. A good opportunity nonetheless. Tottenham 3, Wolfsberg 0. And they are very much in control at the moment, Spurs. Winks did so well to open up the space for himself. A long way over the bar as those substitutes do happen. Dane Scarlett, who has been training with the first team a lot recently, is what Jose Mourinho said. He said that he'd had plenty of opportunity and that he'd played well. Well, he's coming on. Dele Alli is the first man coming off. Niall John is on for him. Just waiting to find out who Dane Scarlett is going to come on for. It's Moussa Sissoko, so potentially a slight change in shape. Scarlett, who's sort of, well, he's a striker really, is Dane Scarlett, but he looks as though initially he's gone across to the left. Niall John playing in the middle. Good opportunity this for Niall John to get on the ball a little bit. It's a ball from Marcel Tavernier. It's poor. Gareth Bale there just applauding him for the attempted ball. It wasn't near Bale, but Bale giving him the credit he deserves for the attempt, as Jevelic, who's been really quiet since coming on as a substitute, slips over the ball. Now Ben Davies into Dane Scarlett, cutting in field and lofting a high hanging ball that's poor. Gia Belidze were watching out of play. So just a reminder then, Tottenham's third goal means that they have become the first Europa League team from England, the first English Europa League team, I should have said, to make it to 100 goals in the competition. A big achievement for Tottenham. As Vinicius tried to battle away there in the middle, it falls in the end to, it looks as though that was Nemanja Rinic, and Scarlett puts the pressure on and Vinicius scores to well and truly wrap it up now. Dane Scarlett gets an assist off the bench, the 16-year-old, but it's Tottenham 4, Wolfsberg 0. Gustav Henriksen, who kept the score down before the break, gets caught on the ball by the 16-year-old Scarlett. And in the end, Tottenham do get their fourth. It's a real poor piece of defending from Henriksen. Just caught in possession, and Tottenham punish them. Tottenham have well and truly wrapped it up now at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It's Spurs 4, Wolfsberger 0, and it's a goal that was made really by the 16-year-old Dane Scarlett, who came off the bench. He put the pressure on Gustav Henriksen, the centre-back, who dithered on the ball on the edge of the penalty area, gave possession away to Scarlett, who towed it into the feet of Carlos Vinicius, who struck it first time from the edge of the area into the back of the net past Manuel Coutin to well and truly wrap things up for Spurs. They now lead by 4 goals to 0 on the night, and it's Tottenham Hotspur 8, Wolfsberger 1 on aggregate. And a goal that's far too easy, really, for Tottenham. Just wrap it up quickly, but full credit to Dane Scarlett to put the pressure on, to force the issue. You don't need to do that when you're 3-0 up at this stage of a game, but he made sure that he made a mark on the game. I think he'll be a bit frustrated perhaps that Vinicius stepped on and took the shot on himself. It's one of those that you can't fault Vinicius for taking the shot on. But an assist, and a first professional assist as well for Dane Scarlett. It's a big moment for him. It's just a shame that his family won't be there in person to watch the game. Again, another reminder, of course, that fans aren't at the game at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Not yet. There seems to be some promise from the British government that may well see fans in before the end of the season, the last game of the season. We are expected to see fans at stadiums. It still does feel empty without the fans at the grounds. Football is still here, but the fans not being there continues to be a real miss to football all over Europe and around the world as well. Seems like a novelty almost, seeing fans in grounds. We're approaching almost a year now since fans stopped being in stadiums in England, as Tottenham look to break forward and give their fans on their sofas something to cheer, something more to cheer. Bale through for Scarlett, who just can't get the shot off as he stabs it at goal. Renic is the man in the way, and he forces a good save from Manuel Coutinho to his right-hand side. Dane Scarlett very nearly. He's onside. Luka Lokashvili playing him on as he got the shot off. Renic managed to block it. And it's going a long way wide, but the goalkeeper didn't know. Coutinho had to get a hand to it to tip it round the post. Gareth Bale then to take this corner, left-footed, out swinging, aiming for Eric Dyer, who clattered into Gia Belidze, just leaves him down on the ground. He's down on the ground here, and it looks like a painful one, this, for the substitute. Initially it looked as though the physio was going to come on, and then they very quickly said no, so Gia Belidze back on his feet, going across to his left back position where he's been operating from since coming on as a substitute. And it will be Manuel Coutinho to take this goal kick with just over 3 minutes left to play at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Tottenham 4, Wolfsberg 0. A reminder, there's more games coming up this evening available on this service. Swansea Coventry kicks off in 15 minutes time at 7 o'clock. Preston QPR is a 7:45 kick-off. And then the Champions League games at 8, Atalanta, Real Madrid and Mönchengladbach, Man City are all available right here. Don't go anywhere. There's plenty of independent off-tube studio commentary still to come as Gareth Bale gets the byline, tries to get away from Gia Belidze, who puts the challenge in, and he goes away for a throw-in down by the corner flag. And we've even just seen that little bit of quality added when Gareth Bale came on. And he's just given Wolfsberg really something to think about. As Lavinia comes across to take a throw-in, and Gia Belidze has just grabbed Gareth Bale and thrown him to the ground before the throw-in's taken. Bale just a shake of the head really as he's back on his feet. Throw-in taken by Lavinia to Lucas Moura, who tried to leave it for Lavinia, who just about manages to wrestle away from Gia Belidze, and then it comes off the young full-back and goes out of play for a goal kick. Wolfsberger will take with 2 minutes left. Tottenham 4, Wolfsberger 0. Tottenham 8-1 up on aggregate. Just seeing Dele Alli again. The impact that he's had. The draw, of course, for the last 16 of the Europa League happens on Friday in Switzerland. Tottenham will find out pretty soon who they're to face in the next round. The other British sides, likes of Rangers, Manchester United, Arsenal and Leicester, all have hopes of getting themselves through and into that draw as well. All those games happening tomorrow, and you can catch the majority of them on this service as well. Loads of football, the Champions League, Europa League, and then of course at the weekend the Premier League is back. We have every single angle covered. As Renic goes back to Coutinho. Well, Coutinho, the unfortunate keeper, who's had to pick the ball out of the back of his net 4 times this evening. His long ball forward is headed away. As Gia Belidze tries to battle down the left. He did really well to keep it in play, but was then manhandled by Carlos Vinicius, who just pulled him off the ball. Vinicius, 2 goals for him today. 6 goals in his last 4 Europa League appearances. Certainly enjoying this competition, the Brazilian. As Luka Lokashvili finds Michael Liendl. Liendl, the only Wolfsberger man to score in these last 2 games. He finds Dieng, who takes a heavy touch and under pressure from Eric Dyer can't keep it in. As the seconds tick away, just waiting to find out how much time will be added on at the end of this game. I can't see there being much unless the referee's feeling particularly harsh on Wolfsberger. Expect him to blow for full time sooner rather than later. As we minutes. There's going to be 2 further minutes added on as Henriksen clears the ball away. Then Davies will just leave it, allow it to go out. And what Tottenham will be wanting, what Jose Mourinho will be wanting, is his side to sort of pick this sort of form up in the league. Their last league win came at the beginning of February, a 2-0 victory over West Brom, but then a 5-4 defeat in the FA Cup to Everton in extra time was followed up by a 3-0 defeat at Manchester City. Before, obviously, that 2-1 defeat at West Ham last time out. They take on Burnley at 2 o'clock on Sunday before a trip to Fulham and a home game against Crystal Palace. 3 games you would really expect them to win before the North London derby on the 14th of March. So a big period for them. Jose Mourinho was saying before the game they've got 10 games in March if you include international fixtures that a lot of his players will be playing. So he understands the importance of rotating his side, but the importance of his side getting points on the board and putting performances in. Tonight was the ideal way to put in a performance. 8 goals scored across the 2 games against the Austrian side, who will lick their wounds and go again. They take on Rheindorf Altach in the league, the Austrian Bundesliga, at the weekend, before taking on Lask in the Cup. So a couple of games for them that they will want to win to try and bounce back, as Niall John, who's hardly touched the ball really since coming on, overhits his pass through. It goes out of play for a goal kick that Manuel Coutinho will go across and take. If I had to pick a man of the match for the day, probably have to go with somebody like Dele Alli. 2 assists and an unbelievable goal for him. Carlos Vinicius potentially because of his 2 goals, but Dele Alli, a brilliant performance as Luka Lokashvili hooks the ball clear. Referee looks at his watch and blows for full time as Tottenham put their place in the last 16. Dele Alli opened the scoring with a bicycle kick before Carlos Vinicius, 4 minutes into the second half, made it 2-0. Bale then smashed home from a Dele Alli pass to make it 3 before a mistake at the back. Dane Scarlett nipping in ahead of Gustav Henriksen, finding Vinicius to slam home and wrap things up. Tottenham have beaten Wolfsberger at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. The full-time score is Tottenham Hotspur 4, Wolfsberger 0, and Tottenham through to the last 16. They've won 8-1 on aggregate.